All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the June meeting of the Binghamton Planning Commission. My name is Nick Corcoran. I'm currently the chairman of the commission, which is comprised of local community members tasked with reviewing site plans and special use permits for consistency with the standard and criteria set forth in the City of Binghamton Code. Based on our total number of planning commission members, 4 members must be present to constitute a quorum. Tonight, we have 5 members, which means we do have a quorum and can proceed. First item on the agenda is roll call. Mario DeFulvio. Chris Judgeats is absent. Kelly Weiss. Manny Priest is absent. Kyle Nedlick.
Here.
And Tim Sesney.
Present.
All right. Second item on our agenda is approval of minutes. Looks like we have the May minutes posted. Did anybody see anything that needed to be revised or was inaccurate in the May minutes? And if not, is there a motion to approve? Motion by Kyle, second by Tim. All in favor? All right, that's 4 in favor and 1 abstaining because he wasn't here. All right. Next item on the agenda are seeker determinations. In this portion of our meeting, the Planning Commission will be reviewing documentation provided by applicants for the first time. Applicants will be called to the microphone where they will be asked to make a presentation describing their plans to the commission. Commission members may then ask questions of the applicant to clarify any items that are unclear. And after all questions have been answered, the commission will deliberate and then either set a public hearing date for the project or request additional information before proceeding. To all applicants that will be presenting tonight, we ask that you please state your name and address for our record before beginning your presentation. And we ask that any member of your team who will be speaking, please give their name and address for our public record. So tonight, our first seeker determination is for the applicant Balwant here. Project address is 74 Tompkins Street. And this is a site plan review and special use permit for the construction of a mixed use building with a ground floor convenience store and 3 upper story, 1 bedroom dwelling units in the R2 1 and 2 unit dwelling districts.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Balwant here. I own the property on 74 Tompkins Street.
All right, one second. Can you make sure the microphone is on? So if you push the button on the base to screen.
Yes.
There you go. And then you got to speak right into that microphone.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
So
That's good.
my name is Balwant here. So I am owner of 74th Street property. Sorry, Mr. Lloyd Trans is not here, my consultant usually. So I be here tonight to present my project with me. So I bought this property back in May 23 in hoping you turn related properties into something better to serve the community to the part of south side of town. I was leaning towards some sort of groceries, convenience stores. After hearing Vice Market is closed down and the current site is Zone R2 residential, I'm proposing a 2-level building with mini mart on the first floor and 3rd unit apartment of the 2nd floor. The mini mart would offer items such as fresh produce, frozen, and deli, serve sandwiches, meats. And the 2nd floor apartment above would offer single to working couple housing in the community. It is my hope that project would beautify this site and put the taxes back into city, county payrolls, being that it is a mixed use proposal. I also hope that zoning board would allow me to special use permit variance to make the project possible. Thank you for your time and I'll be happy to take your questions.
All right, thank you. Any questions about the project?
It looks like it requires a use variance under the zoning board, so that's a separate process from us, right? Any approval would be contingent on that as well. Just wanted to clarify that.
That's correct. The zoning board is reviewing the land use, so the 3 units aren't allowed because it's R2 and they can only have 2 units. And then the store also isn't allowed in that zoning district. So the use is under the purview of the zoning board. The site plan is under the purview of the planning commission.
Okay. And did I see, does this proposal, does it demolish the existing house that's there? Did I see that? And that, I know we had a project recently that had something similar. Is that tied to this commission's approval, or is that separate, completely separate? Like, are we,
It's yes and no. It's part of the plan to develop the site. So without
Okay.
that demolition, the site plan that they're proposing can't happen. So it's something you do take into consideration. But saying yes or no to the demolition is under the purview of COD. So it's a third board that's involved
Okay.
because of the age of the building.
got it?
But you have, I mean, your opinion on the demolition matters.
Okay. Just two clarification things, just wanted to make sure.
All right. There's a existing retaining wall that's on the border between this property and the garage, the car repair shop. It
No.
looks, the retaining wall's gone.
I think it's a retaining wall there, but I'm not sure. Maybe we have all the pictures, on us.
Unless the wall's been removed, there's a pretty sizable retaining wall that looks like it's about to fall over in a couple of spots. Maybe it's held up by a couple of the trees that are there.
Yes.
Are you planning to address that as part of the project?
I don't know, Mr. Loy know better than me, I don't know what I have to say,
Okay,
Where's the retaining wall on the site? On which?
it's on the, if you're looking into the site, it's on the left-hand side. It's between the car repair shop and the property. It's pretty decent wall, and it does appear to be held up by a couple of trees.
I think this, my God.
We can pose the question to the designer.
Okay. Just something to think about. Because it looks like from the site plan, it looks like you're removing the existing trees to make room for what you're gonna construct. And it does look like that wall might be
I
being
think-
propped up by the trees.
I think there's no tree on the side, that's on the side.
All right, well, something to think about between now and the next meeting, maybe.
Okay.
All right. And then the other question is, so you've got pervious or porous asphalt listed for the pavement of the parking lot. Do you know, where are you planning to drain that to?
That's my architect know,
Okay,
how he gonna do it.
all right. That would also be a question for him. Just because I don't think you want to make a bathtub there. If that site doesn't drain, if the material underneath the parking lot doesn't drain, you'd be introducing a lot of water to a non-draining soil.
No, we're gonna do something, we already planned that, but he didn't discuss with me,
Okay. And is the porous asphalt, I assume that's to meet your requirements for the urban runoff reduction plan?
I don't know.
Okay, so that's another question for Loy?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, any other?
Yep, so in the proposal that you have here, there's 8 parking spaces outside, one being a handicap space. You've got 3 units upstairs that you're looking for. Are any of these spaces going to be dedicated for their? I'm just trying to clarify that, parking spaces for those units. Or are these all store parking spaces?
Mostly all store space parking.
So is there going to be any parking?
Parking on the side, on the back, we gotta, I don't know, it shows on the.
So it'd be
blueprint
on-street parking for the
Not on-
residents?
No, not for street parking, on the side, on the building. On 72 Tompkins, on the back there is a garage, so we try to remove that too,
Okay, but that's not reflecting on the plans here, or are you guys seeing something that I'm not?
No, I think I agree.
Okay, I'm just clarifying.
I feel like, sorry, Got a little cold. I feel like we need more details in these plans because there's a lot of things that are left. I feel like this doesn't, I'm not comfortable with this going to public hearing. It doesn't seem like it's a developed plan. Anybody agree with that? It just doesn't seem like there's the questions
There's a
that
lot
I've
of
asked or,
questions
Yeah.
that we don't have answers to.
yeah.
All right, is there anything, uh, is there anything that the answer to would affect basically that they couldn't prepare an answer in the next meeting, understanding that they're taking a risk, sending it to a public hearing,
Well,
but if they could provide answers at that next meeting,
at the next meeting with, if the public doesn't have the plan, how do they know what the problems might be? This
gotcha.
doesn't seem developed enough to be here.
Is there anything specific?
Yes, the parking, the water, yeah, the demolition of the garage.
All right. So let's just talk about the parking. So the parking, so they're required to have 8 spaces per the code, right? And so they are showing 8 spaces on the actual property. So anything additional, it's not required. It'd be good to show it if you are planning to have people park somewhere else other than on the property, it'd be good to show it as part of the site plan. But they do have the 8 parking spaces required by code on within the site itself. In fact, I guess technically they have room for the 9th parking space where the snow storage area is during the good weather, but so I think the parking issue is probably more info is needed, but I think they've met the requirement for the site plan.
It does look like Tompkins and is it Hall Street? It looks like those both have on-street parking available too, so just
think
something
That
to
might be.
consider.
Okay. And then I guess so the dumpster issue, so the garage in front of the dumpster, it's labeled on the plan as you're gonna demolish the garage.
Yes, sir.
All right. And then the staff recommended an easement be tied to that dumpster for access.
Yes,
For the
I
future.
own both properties, 72 and 74, so I can do easement, yes.
All right, so you wouldn't have any trouble adding an easement to tie those dumpsters to the mini mart
No.
property? Okay. And the dumpster, it's gonna be fully enclosed with a fence?
Yes,
Okay. All right,
All right, I'm sorry to be that annoying guy though, but like you mentioned that there'd be parking in the back of the place for people that are residents there.
yeah, we can make couple parking.
So, I mean, if you're saying that there will be parking back there, I think it needs to reflect that in your site plans.
Okay,
That's my point.
yeah. Yeah, so are you okay updating the plan between now and the next meeting to show whatever additional parking you're talking about tying to this project?
sure.
You'd show it on the plan? That makes sense. Tito,
I have an email drafted to Loy. So the issues that you all want resolutions are the retaining wall, the porous pavement, showing any dry wells or whatever they're doing with that stormwater. And if they plan on providing parking behind 72 Tompkins, that needs to be shown on there as well. Is there anything else?
I guess just to button it up, if it just showed the dumpster enclosed, it sounds
Yeah,
like it will
that's
be,
exactly-
but
okay.
that way there's no issues down the line, that's all.
Well, also explanation on how to get to the parking in the back of the residence too.
So there's a curb cut off of Hall, but that should be shown on the site plan, to your point.
Yep.
All right, so if they make those updates between now and the next meeting, we'd be okay advancing to a public hearing. Okay. All right, any other questions, comments, concerns? All right. All right, so I'll make a motion that the applicant's project will be an unlisted action for seeker review and that the planning commission should be the lead agency for review. Second by Kyle, all in favor? All right, that's 5 in favor, 0 opposed. And I'll make a motion to schedule a public hearing at 5:20 at our next meeting. Second by Kelly, all in favor? All right, 5 in favor, 0 opposed. All right, so we'll see you back in July and we'll have a public hearing.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that concludes seeker determinations. So now we're on to public hearings and final deliberations. In this portion of our meeting, we will be holding open public hearings to obtain public opinion in regard to specific projects that are up for review. Applicants will be asked to come to the microphone and make a brief presentation describing their project. For most projects, this is the second time we are reviewing your information, so it would be very helpful if you could please give us a brief overview of the project to remind us what you're planning, and then clearly identify any changes that have been made since the last time we saw you. When the applicant is done presenting and any clarifications have been reviewed, we will open the public hearing and allow members of the community to speak about the applicant's proposal. After the commission has heard from all community members interested in speaking tonight, the public hearing will be closed and the commission will deliberate. To our applicants, when your project name is called, please come to the microphone and start off by giving the name and address of any member of the applicant's team that is planning to speak. And to anyone from the community that will be speaking in regard to a project tonight, please also start off by stating your name and address for our records. All right, so tonight, our first public hearing is for the applicant Greater Opportunities for Broome and Shenango. The project address is 46 and 48 Griswold Street. And this is a site plan review and special use permit to renovate and expand 2 existing multi-unit residential buildings, resulting in a total of 21 units and 39 bedrooms in the R3 multi-unit dwelling district. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. My name is Kelly Robertson. I'm Chief Operating Officer for Greater Opportunities.
And I'm Patricia Every, PA Every Architect. You want our address, 31 Oak Ridge Drive, Binghamton, New York.
Right. All right, what are you guys thinking about doing?
So we've owned 46 and 48 Griswold Street since 2003. And we did receive funding from the City of Binghamton and between 2011 and 2013 to do the roofs and some siding, cosmetic stuff to the front of the buildings, but the interiors have never been renovated. It's in not great shape, outdated electrical, outdated boilers. One of the boilers stopped working at 46 Griswold, so only 2 of the units are habitable at this time. So our plan is to apply, we're currently in the process, it's due June 12th, to HHAP for $8.2 million to renovate 48 Griswold from 10 units to 11 units and 46 Griswold from 4 units to 10 units. So we would have we have 14 units now, and we would renovate it into 21 units for those experiencing homelessness within the city of Binghamton and Broome County. And the current population served there is those who were experiencing homelessness at the time of entry. So we're already serving that population there. We would just be adding additional units, including 4-bedroom units and ADA accessible units, which are needed for this population.
All right. All right, and Tito, just a clarification. This went straight to public hearing tonight. How come?
The applicant requested that it go straight to public hearing, and it's not new construction. There is an addition, but it's not a totally new site. And we thought it was appropriate. Of course, the planning commission can table it and hold the public hearing open if they think they need more, if you think you need more information.
All right. Any questions for the applicant?
So currently, the units that you do have there are serving and helping people that are experiencing homelessness.
Correct. All the
Okay.
units except for 2 at 46 are currently occupied. So our plan is to start with 46 Griswold Street and complete the construction there.
Mhm.
And then have the residents that are currently in 48 Griswold move over there for the relocation plan. If any tenant moves out, obviously while construction's going on, we just won't fill those units
Mhm.
until the construction's completed. And then they have the option to move back. We will assist them with all the relocation. Our staff is right there and storage and everything to assist them. The 2 tenants in 46 Griswold, we will relocate them to other properties that we own within the city of Binghamton, and then they can go back. Once
So-
the construction.
I guess just a little bit more of a background on Greater Opportunities itself. How long do people have to live at these facilities?
They're not facilities, they're permanent supportive
Res-
housing.
Okay.
And they can live there as long as they want to live there.
Hmm.
So this, we don't have any subsidies at this, but we do have a New York State supportive housing program that so offers us the ability to offer supportive case management to the residents. This is permanent housing. They don't ever have to move. They can stay there. I mean, we have some residents that have lived there for over 6 years currently, so it is their option to stay, you know, obviously if they follow the lease and there's no issues on that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you just repeat, is it currently 11 or the number of units it is currently in?
14.
14
So there's 10 in 48 Griswold and there's 4 in
Okay.
46 Griswold. And we will, once the construction is completed, it will go to 21 units.
Okay, thank you.
If I just might add, the ones at 46, they're really not large enough apartments. Basically, there's a kitchen and a bedroom. So, you know, we're lacking in the basic spaces. And we have the same thing in the back half of 48 Griswold, where there's 4 efficiencies. So they're just really too small. The bathrooms are too small and everything needs updating.
All right. And how long has it been in operation at this location?
2003,
2003, so quite a while.
yes.
All right, and the surrounding houses are in general also rental units?
Correct. The one side was an Anzaroot property. I'm not sure what's going on with that one. I believe on the other side is a rental. The one behind us got torn down and there's just a vacant garage there now and it's vacant land. So, and then across the street is more industrial. There's a
Yeah.
house across the street and industrial, but there's
Okay.
several apartments along that, multi-unit buildings.
All right,
Just a note on that, this was recently rezoned to R3 as part of the affordable housing legislation because of the amount of rentals here. It was previously R2.
all right. All right, and everybody's been good neighbors up until now?
Oh, yeah, we've had very little issue.
All right. And in general, most of the people that are living in the units don't have vehicles?
Correct. The majority of them don't have vehicles. I think we have 1 or 2 there right now, but,
All right.
you know, homelessness, they don't usually have vehicles, but we have vehicles to transport them. We have a lease vehicles in order to transfer, our clients to their appointments, medical, stuff like that.
Gotcha, so the amount of, excuse me. The amount of parking that's already on site is more than enough.
Correct.
All right, great. All right. All right, well, this one is straight to a public hearing, so, and the public hearing signs have been posted for a
Yep.
few days. All right.
Correct.
All right, so let's open the public hearing and see if there's anybody here to speak about the project. All right, so this is the public hearing for the applicant Greater Opportunities for Broome and Shenango, Inc. The project address is 46 and 48 Griswold Street. And this is a site plan review and special use permit to renovate and expand 2 existing multi-unit residential buildings, resulting in a total of 21 units and 39 bedrooms in the R3 multi-unit dwelling district. If there's anybody that would like to speak about the project, please come to the microphone. All right, and the planning department did not receive any letters about this?
No, we got a call from Lebanon Seaboard Board, which is an industrial facility across the street. They didn't have any concerns. They had questions about construction and street closures, but not about the project itself.
Okay. All right. Seeing nobody approaching the microphone, we'll close the public hearing for the project. All right, any other questions, comments, concerns? All right. And the planning department is okay with declaring ourselves lead agency and proceeding in all in one meeting? Okay. All right, so I'll make a motion that the proposal is an unlisted action under seeker and that the planning commission should act as lead agency for review. Second by Kelly, all in favor? All right, that's 5 in favor, 0 opposed. And then I'll make a motion for a negative declaration for seeker review based on the following. Will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulation? No. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land? No or small impact. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? No or small impact. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkways? No. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? No. Will the proposed action impact existing public or private water supplies or public or private wastewater treatment utilities? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources? No. Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? No or small impact. And will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No. So based on those, I'll make a motion for a negative declaration for seeker review. Seconded by Kyle, all in favor? All right, that's 5 in favor, 0 opposed. And I'll make a final motion that the requirements for site plan review and special use permit have been met. Seconded by Tim, all in favor? All right, that's 5 in favor, 0 opposed. All right,
Thank you so much. We
Good luck.
truly appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
all right, our next public hearing tonight is for the applicant Briad Development LLC. Project address is 265 Court Street. And this is a site plan review and special use permit to construct a vehicle fuel station, convenience store, and 2 drive-through restaurants in the C1 Service Commercial District. Welcome back.
Glad to be here. Jim Tallarico from Briad Development LLC, 78 Ochsner Parkway, Livingston, New Jersey. So this is my second time back from the public hearing, so I guess it's still open to public hearing at this point. So just to recap, the previous meeting, I presented basically the same thing where we were still waiting county comments and DOT comments, but our application was still the same, that it's a gas station convenience store with 2 QSR restaurants, which are Jimmy John's and Wendy's, with 2 drive-throughs. We currently have 12 fuel pumps proposed, 10 for regular gas, 2 for diesel. Since then, we've received DOT review. We removed the access point off of Henry Street and reduced the access point on Court Street from a right in, right out to just a right in. That was as of yesterday. We sent our plans into Tito. I had a conversation with them this morning, so hopefully that made it in under the wire. So as far as the rest of the comments were concerned, between county and state comments, we don't have any objection to them, so we're going to proceed forward with answering them, and they shouldn't affect the current site plan that was presented. The most updated site plan that you have, we would then update obviously all the design documents to conform with that current site plan that's in front of you tonight.
All right. All right, sounds good. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Yeah, how sick of this meeting are you so far?
I've been doing this for 20 years all over the country, so I'm
You're
used
good
to
to go.
it. So
All right. All right, well, the public hearing is still open from the last meeting, so we'll just check to see if there's anybody here to talk about the project. So this is the continued public hearing for the applicant, Bria Development LLC. Project address is 265 Court Street. And it's a site plan review and special use permit to construct a vehicle fuel station, convenience store, and 2 drive-through restaurants in the C1 Service Commercial District. If there's anybody here that wants to talk about the project, please come to the microphone. And we didn't receive any new letters to the planning department.
We did not.
All right. All right, since the public hearing was open at the last time, and I don't think anybody spoke last time either, we'll close the public hearing. And this time they've received all their approvals. We can move forward.
oh, I should mention one other thing. We have a zoning board hearing on the 10th
On the 10th.
to address any of the variances.
So any vote should be subject to the approval of the variances.
All right.
I believe, so we actually have a letter here that I am not sure that was submitted before the last meeting. We did get one letter at the last meeting, but there's an email here that I think is new. Selwyn can correct me if I'm wrong. Mary Ellen Bronson from Fairview Avenue. Oh, okay. That was uploaded to Basecamp? No, okay. All right, so I can read that if.
Yeah.
My husband and I have quite a few concerns about the proposed project at 265 Court Street for 2 fast food restaurants and 1 gas station. Probably the biggest concern is regarding the proximity of Broome County ambulance on Liberty Street, where one of the proposed entrances is to be constructed. Although the Binghamton Fire Department is 1 block away, the additional traffic that this project will undoubtedly create may hamper emergency services. The intersection of Court Street, Tompkins Street, and the Brandywine Highway is one of the worst traffic bottlenecks in the city, especially during the AM/PM rush hours. During the floods of 2006, 2011, it became obvious that the east side of Binghamton is like a peninsula and that any westbound traffic has only 3 routes out of the east side: Court Street, Robinson Street, or Bevere Street. The 3rd project exit on Henry Street would also create traffic congestion. Another safety concern is the proximity of 265 Court Street to the facility on the south shore of the Susquehanna River, where the city obtains its potable water. Let's not forget that in recent history, the state of New York mandated that NYSEG clean up toxins in the northeast corner of the intersection. It's understandable that businesses would like to conduct business, and the state, Broome County, and the city of Binghamton may look forward to the taxes that this project may provide. However, we believe the aforementioned issues raised overshadow these expectations. We must point out that the project is not in the best interest of the citizens of Binghamton. Any claimed services to the community are already available within a 1-mile radius. There are currently 5 gas stations within 1 mile and at least 1 2 blocks away on the north side of Court Street. Although we understand the need to develop vacant plots in the city, we're concerned that this project may be a bit ambitious for this parcel of land. Mary Ellen Bronson, Fairview Avenue. I should note that this is referring to an older site plan. So the traffic impacts of the older site plan would not be the same as this one.
Gotcha. All right. All right, well, I think that's the only new information, so we'll close the public hearing officially. All right, so it's your opportunity to respond to anything that has been brought up in the public hearing.
I don't really have a response to it. I mean, their opinions, unfortunately, so. Having developed all throughout the country, you can't please everybody that when you propose applications. We feel that the application that's in front of you is a respectable development and it's something that's a necessity in that area. It's been an area that has been needed to be upgraded for quite some time, and I think we're bringing a nice development to that location.
All right. All right. Any other questions, comments?
I guess I just wanted to note that the response from DOT actually mentions that the Liberty Street entrance exit provides a safe and efficient manner for vehicles. So I guess that's their take on it. I just was looking that up as you were reading it in. So they're the experts. So if they feel okay with it, and they actually note that it's a low traffic street currently, and so it's actually better to have the in out on that street. So I actually think the new traffic pattern does make a lot more sense. So, and it sounds like it was based on an old traffic pattern too.
All right,
Just wanted to throw that out there.
excellent. All right. All right, if there's nothing else, I'll make a motion for seeker determination, a negative declaration for seeker review based on the following. Will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? No or small impact. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land? No or small impact. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? No or small impact. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkways? No or small impact. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? No. Will the proposed action impact the existing public or private water supplies, public or private wastewater treatment utilities? No or small impact. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No or small impact. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources? No or small impact. Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? No or small impact. Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No. So based on those, I'll make a motion for a negative declaration for seeker review. Second by Kyle, all in favor? All right, 5 in favor, 0 opposed. And I'll make a motion that the requirements for site plan review and special use permit have been met, subject to approval by the zoning board for any variances and submission of final plans that reflect all required changes to the planning department. All right, second by Kelly, all in favor? All right, 5 in favor, 0 opposed. Good luck.
Thank you very much, guys. We're looking forward to being part of the community.
All right, thank you. Ron, do you need something?
I want to talk to him for a minute.
Oh, James. That's right. All right, I think we can move on to our next public hearing. So this is for the applicant, Robinson Plaza Realty LLC. Project address is 71 Robinson Street. And this is a site plan review and special use permit to establish a 9,500 square foot social services facility in an existing commercial tenant space in the C1 Service Commercial District.
Good evening. I'm Kenneth Gay, Senior Architect at Keystone Associates, 58 Exchange Street. I have with me tonight Mike Maziak, the property owner, as well as Christine Battisti, who will be the Executive Director at the Crime Victims Association. This is a follow-up of our meeting last week, or last month, I'm sorry. Nothing has changed on the plan. The square footage is as noted. And office space will be provided as shown. And parking areas are noted on the site plan as well, consisting of 4 parking spaces and an additional 8 for up against the building. The construction of a bike rack, redoing the asphalt area in front sidewalk. And then there was a clarification needed before regarding the address of the property, and it's 71 Robinson on some documentation, including the site plan. We have a different address for that parcel. There was some comment made about from Broome County in regards to several items. I can address those if you want. I just got them last night. The first one's in regards to the preliminary FEMA special flood area. My understanding from our civil department is that the preliminary flood comments are just that, preliminary. They're not utilized. It is an existing facility as well. There is on the site plan planted landscaping as well as sidewalks coming off of Robinson into the property for pedestrian as well as bike traffic. There is also landscaped areas in there, and as Mike had mentioned last time, some of the problems he has with the landscaping is it is getting stolen off the property, so he tries to maintain that as best as he can. Lighting, there is lighting on the facility. There's no at this point proposed any new lighting for that facility.
All right. And I think at the last meeting, you said you were working on updating the landscaping for the Walgreens. How's that going?
We're fighting them tooth and nail.
All right.
But basically, we cleaned all those mulch back up, took all the grass out of it. We're set there. And then we got a letter from Walgreens that we originally built that store for Rite Aid. And seeing Rite Aid went bankrupt, they're the ones on the lease. So it's gonna be very interesting what happens in the next year and a half there.
All right. All right. So you're still working on it.
Oh, yeah, and then we're gonna put in front of her, this is Christine. And Teasy, she's the manager of the crime victims. And right where her windows are in the front there, right next to the building, we're gonna put landscaping with flowers, basically. And she'll control them, but no problem.
All right. All right. Any questions, comments before we open public hearing? Concerns? All right. All right, so this is the public hearing for the applicant Robinson Plaza Realty LLC. The project address is 71 Robinson Street. This is a site plan review and special use permit to establish a 9,500 square foot social services facility in an existing commercial tenant space in the C1 Service Commercial District. If there's anybody that would like to speak about the project, please come to the microphone. And do we get any letters submitted to the planning department about this one? No. All right, no letters and nobody approaching the microphone. So we'll close the public hearing. All right. Last chance. Everything's good. All right, at our last meeting, we determined that this was a type 2 action, so no further environmental review was required. So I'll make a motion that the requirements for site plan review and special use permit have been met. Second by Kyle, all in favor? All right, that's 5 in favor, 0 opposed. All right, good luck.
Thank you very much.
All right.
How are you doing? Good, how are you? Great.
All right, our last public hearing is for the applicant Gregory Griffiths. Project address is 40 Liberty Street. And this is a site plan review and special use permit for the establishment of a vehicle sales rental facility in the I-3 Heavy Industrial Zoning District. Welcome back.
Hello,
Hello.
Gregory Griffiths, President Binghamton Slag Roofing. Our property is 110 to 128 Eldridge Street. And this is in regards to 40 Liberty Street, which is actually on Eldridge Street and borders our property. Basically what we were looking to do was use the building to, basically what we were looking to do is use the building as a car dealership in order to have our holding company purchase vehicles and lease them to our operating companies. It's not something where we're planning on displaying any vehicles on the lot or anything like that. It's just to be used for internal use.
All right. All right. And at the last meeting, I think we just asked that you take off the the striping that showed parking spaces. We have a new plan that shows a crushed gravel lot.
Yep.
All
Yeah,
right.
not for display.
Not for display.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Any questions, concerns? All right. So let's open the public hearing for the project. See if anybody's here to speak about it. This is the public hearing for the applicant Gregory Griffiths. Project address is 40 Liberty Street. This is a site plan review and special use permit for the establishment of a vehicle sales rental facility in the I-3 Heavy Industrial Zoning District. If anybody would like to speak about the project, please come to the microphone. And seeing that the audience is empty now, I'm guessing there's going to be no people approaching the microphone. Any letters about this project to the planning department? All right, no letters. We did get 239 comments, but nothing significant in there that would have severely affect our review.
No, they mentioned the flood hazard area. Again, preliminary. It's not the one that's currently in place. They do talk about improving the site appearance, given its location within the Brandywine corridor. There is a landscape buffer being installed that doesn't currently exist. And then it says the site plan should include any proposed signage. Yep, that's pretty much it.
All right. All right. And you explained that this was more or less to fulfill the requirements of a loophole, so.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's something the New York State DMV requires, and that property meets it the best out of all of our other ones.
All right. All right, so we'll close the public hearing. And anybody have any other questions, comments, concerns? All right. So no other questions, comments, or concerns. All right, at the last meeting, we determined that the proposal involves the reuse of an existing building, which is a type 2 action for seeker review, so no further environmental review is required. So I'll make a motion that the requirements for site plan review and special use permit have been met. Second by Kelly, all in favor? All right, that's 5 in favor, 0 opposed. That was easy.
Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, good luck. Thank you. I have one question for other business. Tito, are you aware of any other municipalities that have ever enacted something like a saturation limit to uses within a square, like a distance of other uses? I only ask because there's been a few projects recently that have been mini marts or convenience stores within, 2 blocks of 4 other convenience stores. Is that just the owner's right to do whatever they want with their property and let the market figure it out, or do some codes have guidance.
Those density rules exist in lots of zoning ordinances for different types of uses, like we're trying to do it for gas stations as an example. I think Johnson City is considering or has passed one for convenience stores and smoke shops.
Does that come from us or zoning?
That would come from the planning department would draft something like that. The planning commission would weigh in on whether it should be adopted or not, and then city council would vote. But the planning commission can ask the planning staff to do something, and then we just run it by the mayor and see if he's good with it, but.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that idea. Five in a row. You've got the gas station, the bodega, the bodega, the bodega, the gas station. I mean,
Every day, all back there, garbage. Yeah. No, I think, yeah, but, there's, every day, it's just like in the morning, we go down there, it's the workers, in the morning, they put out all the stuff in there, not food, but they're in, just don't. They're having this, but they're recycling.
Oh, you buy it from the third.
Give it back, and I go there, it's just like,
sitting there.
So in April, Johnson City passed a moratorium on corner stores, tobacco stores, and vape shops and hookah bars for 1 year while they decide what they want to do with their zoning.
I'm very in favor of that.
Yeah, is that something we could request the plan? I don't want to make more work for you.
No, that's
but
fine.
is that something we could request the planning department to take a look at?
Yeah, you can vote to have the planning department explore a moratorium or zoning changes to limit convenience stores.
Are there any other uses that we see a lot of that it's like, Jesus, another one of these? or
Dispensaries.
Dispensaries? Probably coming.
Well, those are illegal, so we wouldn't have to, those already can be cited. And they do get cited. So we wouldn't need a moratorium for those.
Gas stations?
We're doing that one for the public.
Okay, all right.
That was just, we have to go back to the planning committee of city council with that one.
Okay, so it would just be the bodega, deli, mini mart
Mini-mart.
businesses.
Yeah. Yeah, do you need official motion for that or just a request?
I think it should be, a motion and a vote. If it's, convenience stores and smoke shops or whatever the combination is.
Come on, no.
All right, so I think it's mini marts, right?
Mini marts,
Bodegas.
bodegas, deli, smoke shops, vape.
Small. Okay. So make a motion for
No stores.
that the planning commission is requesting the planning department take a look at establishing guidelines for density of uses specifically to mini marts, bodegas, tobacco sales, stores, delis, that type of store.
I
All
mean,
right,
there's 3 bodegas in street that we're looking at next month now.
yes. Okay. All right, second by Kelly, all in favor? All right, that's 5 in favor, 0 opposed. All right. All right, that's it. Anybody have any other business?
It's a good question. There is a meeting scheduled for July 1st.
My first. Oh, all right. All right.
I don't know. I will check. I know yours was about to pass, so you were going to be reappointed by default. And I thought they were going to actually vote to approve you. No offense to Nick. I don't know what their reasoning is. They just,
Uh-oh.
they have nothing to say about you. You're not
Yikes.
interesting. I think they were gonna, I will get you an answer.
For those that are renewed at the end of 2025, does that start after the expiration period typically, or would it start like now for just for clarification?
What was the question?
So I think a few of us are renewed, they have to be renewed at the end of the year, including myself. So when would that process typically start? Does it start before the expiration or after?
The mayor will typically try to reappoint you before you expire. If your term does expire, you continue serving. That's what the code says. So
Yep.
it's not like
Okay.
you have to stop. But
Got it. Thanks.
All right. All right. Anyone want to make a motion to adjourn? Tim makes a motion to adjourn, second by Kelly. All in favor? It's 4 in favor, 1 opposed, as always. All right. Thank you.